Alright, let's continue. So I'm going to start with the head now. And to do that, we're going to combine the head with the neck. So let's go to the subtool. And I'm going to scroll down and come to the neck. And make sure it's close to the head. So the head is on the top and the neck is on the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is just select the head and go to the merge and merge down. So it's going to merge with the neck and make sure it's undoable. So just hit OK. And there we go. I'm just going to hold on Control and drag to combine it. And hold on Shift just to smooth it out this way. I'm also going to add some little bit resolution. So if I go to Dynamesh, just increase the resolution, hold on Control and drag, and there we go. Just decrease my brush draw size. Just start working over here. So I'm going to take my clay buildup. Now we know that we're going to add up the eye a little bit later, but just for right now, just to get a visual, config, I'm going to add the eye just to get an idea, right? So I'm going to start working with the head a little bit, make it a little bit big. It's kind of a closed. Starting with the eyebrows, just pulling it a little bit out. It's giving a shape out of it. Just playing with the head. And I'm checking from every angle to get the proportions right. Switching to my clay buildup and giving some volume in it. I'm also going to make sure that if I go to the brush and go to my auto masking and turn on back face mask. This is not going to affect on the back side of the faces. So sometimes what happens is if you have a very thin mesh, it will start affecting on the back faces. So if we get the situation, I'll show you. But for right now, we just continue over here, this part. And I want to make sure this and this completely are kind of close together. So I'll just put it a little bit more. You can also check with the reference. So I'm just going to turn it off. Maybe just pull it up like that. From the front, sure it's coming out nicely. Let's pull it out. So I'm holding down Alt and just grabbing out nicely. Now it's a flat plane area, so I need to flatten it out. But just to give in that shape gives me an opportunity to get a flow and bony landmarks over here. Again, just adding some volume. Now just because over here there's a bones comes out of it and connects with the jaw, so I'm going to create that bone. Adding some volumes. I need to pull this out a little bit. I need to make sure it's in the shape. So I'm using this reference over here to get this shape out of it. It takes time. Just take it out and do it patiently. Just bring it out nicely. I'm going to also turn on the perspective. Zoom out, make sure everything is coming out. Again, switching to my clay buildup. And you want to go free, loose. Don't worry if you're making the mistake, that's completely fine. Sometimes it's important to make the mistakes so you get the volume out of it and then you can fix it. Since we are working in the digital world, don't need to worry about it so much. Just go loose, free, relax. Just keep adding the volumes and the shapes. I'm going to add the nasal fibula over here. You can bring down a mesh. So I'm holding down Alt and adding, just carving the detail out of it. So if I hold down Alt, you can see how it just cut out and give me that round shape over here. And then if I want to add a little bit extra clay over there, I can just release the Alt and just add the clay, and then again holding down Alt, and you can see how it's giving me that shape over there. That's the important thing that you want to check. Make sure it's not too much blocky. I can just pull it in just to create the eye socket area over here. Maybe I'll just give in the eye over here, just a temporary eye, just to get an idea what's going on. I'm going to hit the S key to solo this mode. It's going to look weird, like a Donald Duck. Later on, everything's going to be fixed. I want to make sure the interior part is coming out nicely. Again, just playing with the volume. Make sure this bone comes out nicely. It's kind of a back of the head. And actually there's a hole in back there. So if you look closely to the reference, there's a hole actually. You can see over here. And that is actually the ear. And that's what we wanted. So we're gonna dig in over here like that, just to give space out of it. Add some volume, just read on a mesh. It's not a big hole, but it's there. Make sure we have the equal surface. And now we're going to introduce a new brush. So I'm going to hit the B, and that is the trim dynamic. So sometimes if you're finding a good angle, so trim dynamic is the perfect brush for that. What it does, if I just use my brush over here, you can see how it just flatten out everything surface. The best thing about it, it equalized the surface. That's what I wanted over here, to equalize the surface and get the angles and proportions. It gives me the perfect opportunity to see how my meshes start looking over here. So just using every angle and equalizing all this area. And if it's kind of a low over here, you can hold down Alt, and then it's going to do the opposite. There we go. You can see how it just straighten out this angle over here. I'm going to switch to clay buildup, and again keep adding the pony landmarks. Since I have the angles now, I can see where I need to do the sculpting. I'm going to hit the S key to solo. Just adding the volume in the neck. So it's kind of a push and pull. You add the volume, then subtract the volume in it. The purpose behind is that to get the, a right exact surface that we are looking for. So sometimes it's too much, then I add the volume in it if the subtraction goes too much. keep this flat over here a little bit so it comes out like that. This angle. That's the angle I'm looking for it. I want to keep it down this word. It's all about angles to finding a perfect angle. Okay, so let's start with the jawline as well. So I'm going to hold down Alt and select and increase the resolution a little bit. Just read animation. Again, just adding some volume. And subtracting it again. Now, if you see there's some kind of a hole, I'm going to hit the S, and you can see there's an open hole. And to fix this, you can go to the B and go to inflate and just inflate this brush. So what it's going to be more like a balloon. It just fill the air into the polygons and try to close those polygons over there. And then you can read our mesh, and there we go. And then you can just smooth it out, this area. Let's switch to the clay buildup again. Hit the S key. Just continue the jaw. Hold Alt. Going to turn off the perspective and check the reference again. Make sure everything is aligned. Come over here, maybe just a little bit up, pushing this surface up. Playing with the shape. I'm using this reference as a reference. I'm not going to exactly make the same out of it. It's getting the equal over here, as you can see. Let's add up this line and just equalize this area. You can see it's pretty dirty and messy, and that is okay. Because in the traditional, we also do the same. Again, just subtract this area. Great. Let's turn on the perspective. And there we go. Now we're going to add the eyeball over here, which is the most important area. And we're going to do this in the next video.